and I watched Attraction die in real time. It wasn't dramatic or anything, it's just like we stood and we both knew. And there was just nothing either of us could do about it. And the science behind this, to me personally, is quite fascinating and doubly as infuriating. You remember I play soccer, he plays basketball, texting guy? Yeah. Things were not going well, guys. I was pretty messed up, pretty heartbroken, confused. So I did what any self-respecting woman would do. I went to a bar. Now, to this day, I do not know why I went to a bar. This is not something I did nor normally do, but I went to this bar and there I was. Warmly lit Changwon bar, not a lot of people, basically perfect. 80s music playing. And then he was there. This very handsome guy, spoke English very well. And we hit it off, guys. Like, we really vibed. I don't know if you've ever had a relationship with a person like this where you just really, from the get-go, you get each other, you vibe. It was awesome. There was no alcohol math. I didn't feel a hidden agenda. It was just like real human connection. And there was, of course, the typical Korean cameraman moment where a guy just comes by with a camera and takes a photo of you. And for the first time in my whole life, I just sat there. The guy put his arm around me and I smiled like a normal human being. I didn't run, I didn't pull a face, I just smiled. This never happens. Somewhere on Facebook is still this picture of me and this guy who I look like, you know, it looks like we've known each other for years. And there we were having a great time. But we're both 10 p.m. people, so it was time to leave. And you know, the question, shall we exchange numbers? It hung in the air like a juicy, ripe peach. And I stood, and he stood, and the peach exploded. The peach went all over the place. He looked at me basically the way a Jack Russell looks up at a Great Dane, but with a lot less like swagger. And my brain just went, Manny! Nandeska! My brain kind of freaked out. Because of course this would be my luck. And we both knew, like maybe we even laughed about it, but I think neither of us needed to say what had just happened. My short king was a gentleman. He walked me all the way to the end of my block. And then we did a really awkward, I held up my arms, I was ready for my hug. He looked at me like, what? And then I was like, this man is Korean. So I bowed and he went, oh, a hug. And I went, oh, bow. And so it was just really awkward bows. But in the end, we did an awkward tap, tap, hug. And we both slunk our separate ways. And the whole way there was like, what had just neurologically happened to us right there? The moment we stood, because we both understood it without saying a damn word. We just entered the Twilight Zone. And why can't you just like choose a guy who's awesome and just like this person and full stop? But then I read up about this a lot, and basically your brain does a compatibility check, because your brain is your body, right? It does like genetic compatibility, it checks for dopamine needs. That's why you love that he texted me, kid. And there's a lot of like unconscious cue, body language, facial symmetry, height, things that tell your brain like, I'm into this. And your brain has a lot of opinions, loud, unconscious opinions. And it does not care about your politics. Even in intercultural relationships, you will seek, what do they call it, the familiarity principle. So I grew up surrounded by tall men, manly men. And so of course in my head, somewhere in my lady lizard brain, I was looking for manly men of certain height. You must be this tall to ride. Yeah, your brain loves what it knows. Your standards unfortunately remain quite similar even when you leave your country. Then of course there's the layers of like media, myth, your childhood, your trauma, that all makes this beautiful cake of like, this is what I'm into, nom 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 nom. And you cannot stop or help yourself, mostly. By the way, this moment that we had, the stand up down, this moment of hug, bow, Koreans don't say ha ha ha, Koreans say k k k. By the way, I think it's only Koreans and Brazilians who go k-k-k, but this would have been a k-k-k moment. But I do still have this photo on Facebook, somewhere hidden, of me and this man smiling before we stood up. And that photo is honest, you know, like that moment was real. And my brain just had different opinions about what that moment meant. I think by now I've learned a lot of times that like you cannot logic yourself into loving someone. You cannot logic your way into attraction. But you can understand why and what's happening. And once you do, you can like stop being mad at least at yourself for it and maybe build up on what is good. At least that's what I try to do. The longer, raw, way more, I can't say this on YouTube version of this is as always in my stack. And it would be really nice if you could subscribe to this if you like weird cultural mishap mayhem, and if this is at all your kind of weird. And that's it. See you next week. Say bye, Daddy.